podcast number 2 for the NDDSL podcast, NDDSL League. Golf clap again. I mean, the Masters is over, so why are we golf clapping again?
Golf's never over.
Okay. Well, golf's always over for me, but I understand. I understand you crazy people. But this is our second podcast, and so last podcast we had an hour-long one. Great podcast, great information, just general information in the league. I have heard this week that a couple of people haven't watched it, so I encourage the owners to give a look at that and understand some of the details, because those are important as we get closer to today's topic, which is our draft. And I believe, let me know if I'm wrong, but we're starting with the startup draft. Will kind of be the focus for this pod. We're planning a post-startup draft podcast, and then a pre-rookie and a post-rookie. So we'll have a lot of coverage of the drafts going forward. So that's going to be the focus for today, is to do that. So we have our beers with us, right?
Yep. Cheers.
Yep. Cheers, boys.
Dynasty degenerates.
There we go. Very good. Right? The banquet. Yep. So
I'm the only non-banquet.
That's okay. You're the one with the girly headset too, so no problem. No problem. It's all right, Matt. Ah, there we go.
There it is.
Like it. Like it.
Does that give you surround sound?
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
Makes me feel a little bit better.
I don't make the rules, so I don't know.
All right. So the plan for the pod is to really do some, get some bold takes on the draft coming up. Some strategy discussion, right? So some discussion on draft strategies, because I think there's definitely some different strategies that owners can take, and it'll be interesting, I think, to see as we start the draft and start to realize, which strategy the owners may be taking there, and maybe some fun stuff at the end. So I think that Dion's got some interesting stuff for us that'll be fun. So Dion, I think I'm going to kind of let you kind of take over and kind of go through the agenda that we have for today's podcast. So go for it.
Well, let's start off with a draft breakdown. Just reminder, we're doing the snake draft. You got the draft order last episode.
Right.
If you haven't seen the last episode, what are you doing? Figure it out.
True that.
We will subtract 4 bench spots before our draft, just so we're not drafting for those, because those 4 rounds will be for the rookies. So just a quick update there. We'll add them after the draft, so we have them. No pick timer. That's to help with trades if there's any issues, but don't lollygag. The quick recap. Am I missing anything, gentlemen?
I don't think so. Yeah, one trade so far. So we've got
one trade,
a couple of changes. We got someone, I'm not going to say who's got a couple picks in the top 4. Just saying. So
it was expensive, but is it worth it? We'll find out.
We certainly will find out.
The other owner would like to make an appearance next week.
Okay. Yeah. Good point.
He would like to say his piece on the trade, so we'll revisit that once we get him on.
Would love to know his strategy behind the acceptance of that trade.
No, he said it to me. I accepted.
I think it'll be good.
I think that they pay a lot. We'll cover it then.
Yeah, but it seems to me like that's a strategy interest already. We kind of know where that owner's going.
So that segues perfectly down into our draft strategy.
Perfect.
Lots of draft strategies out there. So all of us are new to a startup draft. So lots of ideas out there. Hit a few highlights. You guys have ways you're
do we know? Here's a question. Do we know how many owners have done a dynasty league before? I have not. I don't think Matt has.
I have not.
So Leapley, myself, Farmer Trav, think that's it. We are in a dynasty league, but we've never done a startup draft.
Okay, so you guys have inherited.
We just modified a redraft and just kept a little more every year until
I see.
We just went full dynasty.
The startup is new to all.
Yeah, so this is a whole new experience for all of us.
Because it's certainly unique for someone like myself, and I've only done redraft, right? And so, it's different. I mean, a redraft is you only care about that year, and after that year, you flush everything and move on, right?
Yep.
So obviously, that's the difference, a main difference between the two, and so therefore, your draft strategy is very different in a dynasty league.
I'd say there's lots of variables that go into the values of players, kind of playing a stock market almost.
Yeah.
When you play dynasty, it's contracts, there's QBs, coaches switching teams, injuries. There's so many things that can change. Ages that go into a startup draft and just trades throughout the year.
A lot of variables.
Perception of values can change.
Yeah, and I think that's an important one too, is age. I mean, I'm guessing, I haven't seen this actual draft. I've done a few mocks and it's come true, but you would think that age and your younger players are going to have a higher value than some of your older veterans, and that's all about, is it going to be a production based strategy where you're looking for points to score, which is ultimately what you want, right? You want points for your team, but are you going to look more for value, getting those younger players, draft picks maybe, and then be able to have some trade capital, I would say, to acquire team players later. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that works out.
Well, I think two strategies right off the bat we kind of hit on, the two extremes. There's kind of the win now mode. So, I mean, your age doesn't matter. You want the production. You're going to build your roster based off, I'm going to win now. I'm going to win as much as I can. I'll worry about the draft, the rebuilding as we go.
Yeah.
Yep.
So don't care about the longevity points. The other side is obviously full youth. You want to build for something that's going to last, 6-8 years.
Yeah.
As long as it can.
Yeah.
So do you take a bunch of youth, build up those draft picks for rookies in the, coming futures?
Right.
I mean, don't know. There's no real right answer.
Not really.
Yeah, I think both work.
Injuries, things change within week.
Exactly.
In the NFL.
It will be very interesting. Those youthful might not be as productive in the beginning, just based on projections, but they could very well dominate the league for the next 4 to 6 years, potentially. So it'll be very interesting to see who does what in this startup draft and how the strategy will come into play. I think Phil has made it very clear he wants the latter more so, and Dion's made it clear he wants to win now, I think.
I say that's a good guess, but we'll see.
Yeah, it could be who's picking what.
I say that also kind of goes into another draft strategy of accumulating value. So you might not be taking maybe the best fit for your roster that you're drafting.
Yeah.
But, if maybe someone fell to you, you already have maybe 2 running backs, 3 running backs, but someone fell to you, collecting value to trade pieces in the future is another way of looking for your draft strategy.
I think that's
and we have trades going on during the draft too, so there's movements you can make constantly.
I think that's a strong point to consider, drafting the best available versus what your roster needs, because trades are going to be a big thing. But
yeah, I think another thing from a redraft standpoint is you typically draft right before the season. And here we're drafting well before the season. And so you don't always have to make sure that every single piece of your starting roster is in when you're done drafting, because you can always make trades and things like that before the season to fill that. And I think part of that too is also how active are your owners in the trade market. Mm-hmm. If you have a league, and the redraft league I'm in is very little trades. And if that's what we have, then folks that are looking for the value side of it might have a little bit more difficulty, because the thought behind a value is that you can trade some of that value when you need it, when you're ready to contend, to be able to actually actually contend in your league. So hopefully we have active traders. It's new for me, and I've been talking to someone about it, and it's a little unique for me, and I'm a little cautious but interested to make sure that I can get what I need for my team. So it'll be interesting to see how that works.
And I think being new to Dynasty, guys might be a little timid at first, because trying to get a feel for what values or what do you want to do as your roster build. But eventually, you have to start getting a feel for your team. Like, is this team going to win? If not, it might behoove you better to trade off some of those older assets and get the value while you can now, get some picks, get some younger guys. There's a lot of moving around that you can, lots of variables, so many things you can do. Dynasty is a year-long fantasy football league. It never stops.
Right. That'll be the fun part. So,
and to go with Matt's best, BPA, best positional player, available.
Yeah.
Do you also maybe skip the BPA for a perceived value or, a stack at a position?
Yeah, exactly. There could
Give
be
you an advantage at a certain spot. So there's multiple ways to look up.
Could be a
Trading
certain
back.
player you want that might not be at his draft. What's the word I'm looking for?
the head is
Draft
ADP.
position. Yeah, the ADP. He might not be at the ADP, but you want him on your team. You could take a chance on him.
Right.
So we'll see.
There also is some redraft that can go into the startup draft. So the zero running back, no running backs. Like you're just gonna punt. We'll worry about it, trade for him later, or full blown rebuild right off the bat. Don't care. I'm just gonna make trades later and figure it out as we go.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how it works out because I've played with a few folks who are in the league, but never in this kind of situation, never in a dynasty league. So it'll be really interesting to see how folks, and it should be fairly evident, I would think, as we start the first few rounds of the draft. You should have a good feel at that point for where people are going, but we'll see. And remind again, Dion, when is the draft again?
May 17th so far is what we got.
Yes.
If anyone has ideas on places, they're right now the places I've contacted, everyone has been booked up or it has a ridiculous minimum we have to hit. The only place I'm still talking to is the place Matt told me about out west. What's that called again? The cornhole place?
Place out west. Oh, Smash Park.
Smash Park. So they still talking to them, trying to get some answers.
Yep.
But the other places like private rooms and stuff, owners I've talked to have either booked up or I don't think it's worth it for what we're doing.
Okay.
I'll keep looking. At bare minimum, I talked to the golf course that's near me. They have a lounge area with TVs. They'd be more than willing to accommodate us.
Okay.
It wouldn't be private, and it's a golf course, so drinks and food are probably going to be a little pricier than what a sports bar would be.
Probably, yeah, but
Bare minimum, we have that.
it would be a little separated from your normal sports bar.
Yeah.
So.
All right, sounds good.
But going back to the strategies,
Quarterback?
redraft, how do you guys prioritize your quarterbacks? Because I, for one, am a waiter. I sit and wait because it's a one quarterback format, but it is dynasty. So you don't want, scrubs because you're going to have these guys forever. If someone has 3 good quarterbacks, you're going to have to pay to get a quarterback. What point does the, position value meet, actual?
Yeah, it's
maybe not describe it
because I think your top 5 quarterbacks, so to say, are going to go within the first probably 2 to 3 rounds, and those top 5 generally separate. Even the top, I'd say 3, generally separate themselves pretty far from every other quarterback there is. So, I'm kind of like Dion. I almost plan on picking later. I've done mock drafts where I've picked both early and later.
Yeah, right. You're taking Jaden. You don't need to lie to us.
We'll see. I don't know. I haven't made my mind up on that.
There are points where it's worth it, though.
Exactly.
It depends on how you want to build your roster.
Yeah.
'Cause, if you take Josh Allen or Jaden Daniels, quarterbacks have the longest longevity.
They do.
So,
Josh Allen has another 4 to 5 years easily of still being very productive.
And having that high rushing floor, it's kind of almost a cheat code. So it is worth it. It's just how do you want to build around that?
Yeah, exactly.
It is a price to pay.
Yep. You only have
And I
one
think,
quarterback on the roster.
yeah.
So
One quarterback is different. I mean, a lot of dynasty leagues have the super flex position, and so a
Yeah.
lot of them have two. And so if that was us, you'd see a lot going in the first round
Oh,
because they're,
yeah.
probably
because
first 5 picks.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
So it certainly changes the draft and how it goes. But yeah, I think and to me, everything is kind of a wait and see because you don't know how the other owners are going to draft. And so you just have to be really flexible, in my opinion, and kind of think about what's left, get a feel for maybe how people are drafting and who they might be targeting going forward. And then again, if there's a chance where you feel like you need somebody and you're a couple spots away, you could always offer a trade if you want to grab somebody. So that's the fun part of it, is really trying to project how things are going to go and just kind of go with the flow and be flexible going forward. And sometimes it's hard when you have a strategy. You want to kind of stay with that strategy, but that strategy can somehow change a little bit based on the strategy of the other folks that you're drafting with. So, yeah, be interesting.
I'm saying you could be at the turn. All three of us are, towards the end of the draft. We're not in the middle, so there's a long time between our picks.
A lot of trade
So
talk.
trade talk, but also runs. So we might be thinking we're waiting on quarterbacks because there's still plenty. But you have, 20 picks between your picks for you guys?
Basically, yeah.
That's a lot of quarterbacks that go.
I know, it really is. I mean, there's a lot of, so to say, sleeper picks that are going to be available later that could make things worth it for you if
See, I got one in my spicy takes later.
Bring it on. We're on the subject now.
No, we'll wait till then. Just the preview. It's just
waiting.
Okay.
Just foreshadowing.
Okay.
Yep.
Just a tease in the
Fully
biz.
understand. You're mid to late QB sleepers. I get it.
I do think there's probably maybe 4 to 5 I do think are worth, top 2 round value.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Do you want to pay that?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're missing out on a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Is it worth it is the main question.
And, it's a one quarterback league, right? So, and there's a couple options in the rookie draft that are probably going to be starting quarterbacks. And so I think that's also part of your strategy. And, if you're looking for someone and a run happens and you miss out, maybe there's an opportunity to grab something in the draft. Not that that's necessarily what you've been looking for, but you can get a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
That's the thing I'm excited about, is just how it's a little bit different. And you got more than just the draft that you got there. You got other things to think about just versus, okay, I need a quarterback. Who's going to be my man all year this year? Who's going to be my man for the next 3 to 4 years? And
the nice thing is your perspective isn't limited to this tunnel. Like, I can take this guy here, miss it. Who am I okay with that I can make a trade with at some point in time? Like, you have lots of avenues to explore. It's the nice thing.
Yep. Very good.
Another thing that remains to be seen for me, to everybody, is the defensive players. Where do they fit in our draft?
That very good question. From every mock draft I've been kind of doing, they fall within that 8 to 9 to 10 range, which some of them may be up there if you want to get a top linebacker or top defensive end who just steady points on defensive end or on the IDP rankings. If you want to reach and get them at 8, 9, 10, it's a bold strategy.
Well, that's the thing. Is players going to go off of ADP and the draft board that Sleeper provides? Or are they going to be proactive and say, no, I'm going to get my young linebacker or stud DN that's going to get me, 15 sacks?
Yeah. I mean, it's a big reach. Dion and I were talking about this earlier this week and what each position kind of brings. Like, your defensive ends are going to be big home run or big miss type deal where they depend on those forced fumbles, sacks, and stuff like that. Whereas your linebackers are just going to be your steady Eddie tackles and potential for picks and forced fumbles and stuff like that, but not nearly as much as, say, your defensive ends or your cornerbacks in that sense. And those are also going to be a big hit, big miss type deal.
I say the DBs, you're looking for ball hawks or the
Yes.
ones that can sneak up into the linebackers on those strong safeties and
Yeah.
not only get you tackles, but maybe because passes defended are 4 points.
Yeah.
So
And those are going to be tricky because your ball hawks, generally, they almost don't get passed to as much, towards anyways, because
your traditional shutdown corners aren't going to get thrown at. So it's almost
right.
you might want like the second or third corner because they're going to get targeted a bunch.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that'll be interesting. That's something that's definitely new to me. I've never had an IDP position ever. And so, and a lot of the mocks and a lot of the discussions you see from people, kind of the experts in the dynasty world, don't use IDPs. And so therefore they're mostly just offensive players, your standard offensive players. So it's, difficult to find information about it, but we'll see how that works out.
An IDP subreddit, just in case anybody needs a nice resource. There's a bunch of degenerates there, but they're also just as dumb as the rest of us. So take it for what it's worth. I don't know how it's going to go. I have an idea of what round I'm waiting towards, but depending on how the draft goes, that could change very quickly because I feel like there is a, top few that you really, really want.
Yeah. I feel like it's going to be kickers type deal where as soon as you see one kicker, you're going to see like 8 follow. I think as soon as you see a defensive player, you're going to see 4 or 5 follow just immediately because guys are going to have ideas of who they want on their team and who they want in a linebacker, defensive end, or safety defensive back.
Yeah, and they're going to be scared that when that run starts, so there's the first one, and then everybody's going to be scared that their guy is going to go.
That's kind of my projection is as soon as you see one go, you're going to see 4 or 5 follow pretty quickly.
So do we think the first defensive player goes to Ryan and it's Micah Parsons?
Hey, I kind of thought that, but we'll see. I don't know what Ryan would. I don't think Ryan's ever done an IDP as well, but I could be wrong. I kind of figured Micah Parsons
had
might
an
be your
incredible
guy.
year last year.
He did, but he's a defensive end.
Well, he plays outside backer. He plays both.
Yeah, he does.
It's probably the number one defensive player. I think
so. We'll see.
I don't think Matt thinks so. Interesting. Noted.
That's fine.
No, there's a couple.
You heard it here first, Ryan. Matt will not be taking Micah Parsons from you. So don't
that's
worry.
right.
I won't. I probably won't be.
He's not getting Jaden. He's not getting Micah. We know 2 things now.
Yeah. Well, should we move on to some bold predictions?
Let's do it.
You guys
I'm
got
ready
any?
for bold predictions.
I got a few ideas here.
Okay.
My first one is, does a quarterback go in the first round?
I'm saying yes.
I say yes.
Yeah.
I think so. Yes, also because
I'm going to go on a bigger
a lot of people are redrafts.
Yeah.
That's why I'm thinking. I think that people will think in that redraft mode where a lot of quarterbacks go early. We are a 4 points per passing touchdown, so I think that further kind of reduces a little bit the value. So I think I would say a couple, probably.
My spicy take is there's 2, and I think it's Allen and Daniels, just because the rushing upside's just
It's
too big to ignore.
Yeah.
Because it is a 4-point passing to where you're going to get the advantage. Those guys rush for 800 yards and 10 touchdowns.
Yep.
Yeah.
That just puts it.
And I would say
too high.
that, I don't have any information on it, but I would say there's probably a really good chance that Daniels is a first-round pick towards the end of the round. Just saying.
That's
yeah, I do know a guy that's a big fan. I'm pretty sure.
He might be. I don't know.
All right. Will there be besides the one that's already happened on draft day, will there be a trade within the first 3 rounds?
That one's
normally I would say yes. Normally, but since we're doing a draft in person, that gives you less time to go through that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
but we have a full day of golf for some of the guys.
True.
And drinks should be flowing. Just saying.
Okay, that could be it. That could be
I
it.
feel like might loosen up a few guys.
It could.
Yeah.
It could.
I'll say I hope so. I hope there are, because I think that will make it more fun.
We'll make it more fun.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it will allow us to, do the things that we want to do based on how people are being drafted.
I agree.
So, yeah.
Makes it more interesting, at least.
Yep, for sure.
So, what percentage we putting this at?
See,
I'm gonna go
said no.
75. I think that's pretty high.
That's what I was thinking also.
Happen.
You think 0?
I don't think it'll within the first 3 rounds. I don't think a trade will be
Okay.
made during the draft. I think there's the possibility.
I'm gonna specifically make a trade just so you look stupid.
If you guys trade like the last picks, I'm gonna be so pissed.
All right. Will Ryan draft a quarterback or not a quarterback, a cowboy? Will Ryan draft a cowboy in the first 5 rounds?
First 5?
First 5.
Yes.
I feel like this is tough because he's probably not going to get CD.
Nah,
he's 12, right?
Because he's at the end.
He's 112.
Yeah. So he's at the end. So he's not getting CD.
No, if CD
So,
falls to him at 12, then
you're looking
something
at
very wrong happens.
Yeah, see, I would be making a trade at that point. That's what's happening. Your other is Dak in the first 5 or Micah Parsons? Like, who else is really on that team that you are excited about in the first 5 rounds?
I would not take Dak in the first 5 rounds.
No,
even if I was a Cowboys fan.
No, exactly.
But
Ryan can. I don't
know how
Ryan
homerish Ryan is.
Ryan
how
should.
homerish is
Just
Ryan.
keep pushing those other players down for us. That'd be great.
Yeah.
I mean,
because their starting running back's gonna be Javonte Williams.
That's what I was thinking.
It's not exciting.
Williams, but he's a youngish back.
Maybe.
First 5 rounds though.
You look
the
at
top
Dallas'
60
history with
players.
running backs though. I mean, they've been.
They didn't do anything last year.
That was I guess.
The line's not what it used to be. I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna say yes.
You think so?
I think he picks.
What if he trades up for CD? That could be a thing too.
He could.
He does have the number 1 overall pick.
Yep, he could.
In the rookie draft.
If he goes up to if he tries to go for your 5th pick, I could see him going CD.
I guess we'll see if we see a trade where Ryan's trading up in the first round. I think the answer is yes.
I want him to take Micah Parsons. That'd be hilarious.
Next subject: does an IDP player go in the next 5 rounds? Dion, you had your opinion early on where you think an IDP player will go.
I think everyone's too scared. Like, no one really knows the true value.
Yeah.
Right now.
Start that train.
I don't think so, but this is new to everybody, so maybe someone wants to try something different. I'm going to say no. I just think there's too much value to be had. We're talking the top 60 players in the NFL.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm going to say no as well. Like I said, the mock drafts I've been doing, it's 8-9, but that's some guys could sneak up, and
Ryan could take Micah Parsons.
Ryan could take Micah, 5th round. Fool us all.
You guys have any other bold prediction takes that we can throw out there? Will Matt break 90 golfing before the draft?
No. That's an
I also say
I haven't
no.
golfed yet. So.
You still haven't golfed.
I only broke 90 I think 2 or 3 times last year. So, and that was well into the season of golf.
We want to move on. Go to our flag planting. Are you guys, my guys?
I'm going
our guys.
Dion, start us off with your guys because you have picks 2 and
just
4.
so everyone, know the idea here is we're each going to take a player. We're going to have a must draft guy, a late round sleeper, and a completely off our board guy. So we'll start off with the flag, the must draft. Who do we want? Mine is Drake London. Would absolutely love to have this guy on my roster.
Yep.
Want bad.
Barring
May
injuries.
make a move. Tied to Penix for the next 6 to 8 years, and when Penix took the starting job, the guy was averaging like 15 and a half, 16 points a game.
Does it not make you a little bit nervous with Drake that they drafted 2 wide receivers in the 2nd and 3rd round?
No, it's the NFL, they're throwing for 5,000 yards.
Barring like Drake's injuries, plus drafting 2 wide receivers, it's a little.
That's fine. It's fine.
All
Yeah,
right.
Bijan taking the pressure off. Can't let the safeties, drag up and down. Keep them on their toes.
Yep.
You got a big body wide receiver that runs good routes, has great hands.
He's a stud.
What else you want?
I
is
think he's.
my flag. I feel like that's the next superstar wide receiver. One on my team.
I agree. I love the idea of Drake. He's had injury-ridden years, and I think this year and the next could be. He's missed like 4 or 5 games every year.
It's NFL.
Get
owies.
Yeah, owies.
They happen.
Setting.
They happen.
All right, who's next? Who's the next must draft? Who's your guys' must draft?
I want to plant my flag. It's another wide receiver, Nico Collins. And for similar reasons, I think he is set with CJ for the next couple years. And like Dion was stating, just the next couple years, I think he's going to be a standout.
He already is. Dude's
He is. Yeah.
top 5 wide receiver last year.
Yeah.
But turn it back to you. They just drafted 2 new wide receivers as well.
I know.
That
That's
doesn't
what's
scare you?
Both of them are just kind of.
Well, one's better than both Falcons wide receivers.
Yeah, this is true. But they could line them up slot, and they'll be fine. They'll figure it out.
So mine's Brock Bowers.
Oh.
I think from a tight end standpoint, you have very few real studs at the tight end position. Now, we're not tight end premium. I understand that. However, I think that makes that position even more important to get a really good player to help you in that situation. And so I think that he's last year he just showed this a tremendous amount of ability. He's going to get a lot of, I think, targets in that offense.
Generational.
And so,
My bold
and
take
so I
is
think
he goes within the first, I'm going to say 5 picks.
6?
6
5?
picks.
yeah.
6. I'll go 6 because I know who the top 4 are basically. So 6 picks. I think he'll go.
You know nothing, Jones. I love Bowers there. The only concern is what you're giving up to give him.
Yeah.
Because you can only start
Exactly.
one tight end.
2,
That's right.
technically.
Technically,
2.
you are right.
That's
You
two.
can start
You can
2.
start 2.
That is true.
Yes.
Right.
Take
But
that back.
his talent, in my mind, is generational talent. I think he's going to be the best
And
tight
he's
end we
young.
have in the next 10 to 20 years. He's good.
Does it not scare you that everyone thought about Kyle Pitts the same way? 2-3 years ago?
Sure.
Yeah. Kyle
Absolutely.
Pitts did the exact same thing. He put up
So-
over 1,000 yards his rookie year.
Could, I don't know, be a burn. Could be huge. I like it though.
I mean, that's
Yeah, I
to
mean,
be
you're
said
set
about
for the
any-
next 10 years, basically. at tight
Yeah,
end.
that's
Exactly.
said about any rookie player that we draft this year. Or I guess will be their sophomore year, basically.
Do we want to keep the same order, or do we want to reverse this? For the late round sleeper.
Late rounds.
This is hard. This is a hard one.
This is
for
very
me.
difficult.
I-
Because what do you
I have-
consider like late round? Where are you thinking?
Yeah. What is that?
Mine's 9th round.
9th round?
So mine is Trevor Lawrence. Has ADP of 104.
Forever.
That is 9th round. His situation has only gotten better. He's still, when he got drafted, it's still the same player that was supposed to be the best prospect since, Andrew Luck. Like, he's still the same guy.
Yeah?
Look at his past 2 coaching staffs.
Yeah.
Garbage.
No, I like Trevor.
Brian Thomas Jr. was a top 4 wide receiver last year. They just drafted Travis Hunter.
Okay.
Now they have a new offensive-minded head coach that had Tampa Bay as a top 5 offensive unit last year. Trevor Lawrence sitting there ninth. I will gladly wait on quarterback and snag Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. That's
don't-
good. I'm going to go the
don't
same
like-
position. I'm going to go McCarthy. I think JJ McCarthy with Minnesota, with the tools and the weapons that guy has on offense. We don't necessarily know what it's going to be because he was injured obviously last year, and so therefore. But I think that there's going to be some skepticism on him based on his injury that he had last year. But I think that the weapons that he has, I don't know how far, if he's going to go maybe down to the 9th round. I think you'll probably see him a little higher than that. Maybe. And again, we're one quarterback league, but I think that might be a good position there. I think there's some opportunity for him to get a lot of good points in that area based on the weapons that he has available with him in Minnesota. So that's who I would pick.
I also thinking quarterback on this one just because it's who I was thinking of. I was thinking Bryce Young for a lot of similar reasons. He's got a lot more talent around him this upcoming year. New offensive coordinator who was with the Bucks the year previous. I just think college, he showed a lot that hasn't really been relevant in the NFL yet. But I think he has the talent potentially this year upcoming. Young enough to where he could be relevant for the next 5 to 10 years as a quarterback. And he does have a good arm, good head on his shoulders, it seems, but we'll see. I don't know. He's kind of a question mark to me, but I think he's got more upside.
Yeah, not great stats the first couple of seasons, a little bit better last year.
Yeah.
Since his benching, he came out and was a completely different quarterback, seemed like.
Yeah, that's kind of my opinion. But we'll see. I don't know.
We shall. I don't like it. Terrible choice, Matt. You're awful at this.
Yeah.
That's because I just revealed one of your picks, didn't I?
All right. Off your board.
I'm going to go Odunze, Roman Odunze, Chicago. I think that I mean, with the weapons that he now has been added through the draft, I think that he's being pushed down the roster a little bit. I mean, there's definitely talent there, but my concern is that the target share for him with the tight end and the wide receiver that they brought in the draft for him is going to affect him a little bit. I don't think he's going to be quite as good as he's been in the past. So I wouldn't say he's off my board, but I would say I have concern on him being able to maintain, what he's been able to do in the past. So that would be something I would be considering.
I do think it's a little indicative of his situation that the new coach came in and trying to put in his system, saw what he had, and decided to get a new young wide receiver, a new tight end.
Right.
That is a little scary. I do agree. I do think he is an incredible talent, though. So hopefully,
Indeed,
wins out. Maybe Caleb figures it out and can feed them all. But yeah, there's lots of mouths to feed in Chicago right now.
Yeah,
definitely.
They added some talent during the draft, so.
Who you got, Matt?
I'm stuck between. I was gonna say Romeo as well. Now I'm stuck because I
Copycat.
I know.
You
No,
want me to go?
I've always been kind of out on Rome because I drafted him last year just in our standard league, and just that same thought. Like, man, he's a top. What was he drafted 8th? I think 8th, 9th overall. He was a top pick in the draft, stud all the way around. But last year he just didn't do anything, and this year them adding talent around him, that kind of hurts me. But I guess
somebody else,
redirect,
Matt.
I'm stuck between 2 players, and one is Garrett Wilson, just because it's the Jets. They don't really have a quarterback that I like. I don't think he's a stud talent, but if you don't have anyone throwing you the ball that's good, then the talent is wasted. And another one to me is Jonathan Taylor. That might hurt some feelings because he's on, his 5th, 6th year coming up?
6, I think, yeah.
6th year. So running backs, generally, unless you're like Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley, that 5-6 year mark is where you're coming down the mountain off that peak, basically. So I think Jonathan Taylor starts to regress a little bit, but still productive.
Advocating, devil's advocate here.
Yep.
If there was a player that could be Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, would it not be him?
I know. That's why Jonathan Taylor is conflicting to me. And it's the same with Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson is amazing talent, but he doesn't have a quarterback.
I have an argument for that, too, because he's never had a quarterback.
He really
still
has.
has produced.
He had Rodgers last year. I mean,
yeah.
A shell of Rodgers played quarterback
that's true.
year.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know.
I say they brought in what's his name from Pittsburgh. Played at Ohio State. Why can't I think of his name?
I know exactly who you're talking about. I can't think of his name.
Fields. They brought in Fields.
Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Fields gave DJ Moore a top 5 wide receiver year.
He did.
So I mean, I'm not out on either of those players. I think you're on it here again, Matt.
I could be. I very well could be. We'll see.
Mine is a very high draft player.
Oh.
High value, first rounder, projected. I'm completely out on Puka Nacua. I can't do it.
We've talked.
I am not sold on the player. I've never have been.
Yep.
It just costs too much, and you're hoping for his quarterback. His shoulders being held together by silly string. It feels like. Guy's just hanging on, Matthew Stafford. He's got a coach that's already flirted with retirement to be a TV analyst. The cost is high. The situation's volatile. Terrified. I can't. Where it's going to cost me at the end of the first round, I'm out. He's completely.
He's kind of in my. I don't know who else the Rams have at this point.
Right.
Besides Puka.
And that's kind of what he's
very much to your point. If Stafford goes down, who's Garoppolo? I think is their backup.
Could be worse.
He ever proven himself really to me, but
I still think he's gonna have a good year this year. He's probably gonna be a top 15 wide receiver because there is no one else.
Yeah.
But for that first round, that's someone you want a cornerstone of your team to beat.
Yeah.
And I just don't think after this year that value is going to stay the same. I feel.
So he slides to you at 2. You're not taking him?
I don't think he'll slide all the way to.
I don't think he would, but I mean, just saying you're never taking him, or you're not taking him where he's currently projected in the draft.
Not where he's currently projected.
Yeah.
Even at second, it depends on who else is there, but I even then, there's probably still talent I'd take ahead of him.
Because that's some significant production.
Yes.
That's what I'd be thinking about, right?
Very.
But how about
goes into how you're going to build your roster.
There's another name that I kind of thought about. I didn't want to say him, but what do we think about JSN?
Love him as a player.
Yes.
I just don't know what's happening there.
Right.
Seattle is a big question mark to me. If I don't know what they're going to look like.
Because if you're telling me you're going to give me the same Sam Darnold from the Vikings on the Seahawks,
then I'm interested.
I'm fine. I'm in. Because he has all the talent. Dude runs incredible routes.
But
catches
was
everything.
Sam Darnold a function of his coaching staff and the offense that he was in Minnesota?
And I think he was.
Yeah.
I think he was a system quarterback. I think that is more indicative of the Vikings head coaching than actually Sam Darnold.
Very much like a systems quarterback type place, though.
Is the real Sam Darnold the guy we saw in the last 2 games of the year where he played horribly for Minnesota?
I don't know if he's that bad.
I mean, because that was pretty bad.
I don't know if he's as good as Minnesota made him out to be, though.
Right. Somewhere in the middle, probably.
I would say somewhere in the middle. I don't think he's that bad, but
I'd say he's below league average.
All he has to do is get the ball to JSN.
I think so.
Great.
Right. And so, and that was what I was thinking about JSN, right? It's like, what's going on there? Incredible talent again.
Yeah.
But the production just hasn't been there. Right.
Yeah. I mean, who else do they have? Cooper Kupp in the prime age of
Kupp,
35, maybe?
Right. Yep. So, anyway.
All right. Well, do we want to do this, or what do we want to do, gentlemen?
Would you like
Do
to
what?
This
Dion, I
this
mean, what are you
is our
talking about?
surprise.
this?
I don't think we have enough time to do the entire draft. So what do we
No.
want to cap it at?
Give everybody an idea. Let's say the first, what do you say, 4 rounds? 3 rounds, 4 rounds? Because it'll go
3,
quick.
4, yeah, it'll go really
Five.
quick.
5
5
rounds.
rounds? All right.
5
Why
rounds.
did you ask then?
Well, I was getting your ideas. I'm going to take a completely different strategy. I'm going to go full blown win now.
Okay.
That is the strategy I'm going to take with this.
Okay.
We got you guys here. I guess I need to share my screen, huh? To
You
get
do,
this.
yes, sir.
Yep. Share that screen. Let's see who you pick at potentially. Oh, no, you picked 5 on this. Never mind.
There we go.
You're not giving away anything you're going to pick, are you?
No, I'm giving the people what they want. All right, we ready?
We're ready. Let's do it.
Are you sure it's asking me again?
Sure.
All right, this is set up to be just like the settings for our league.
Yep.
So
Rock
this
3. Look at that. See, Dan?
Number 3. Yeah.
oh man,
I know.
Team 3, listen to me.
it seems pretty chalky. I'm surprised to see Bowers that
I'm
high.
surprised
Yes.
to see Bowers, but the other
Very
3, not
surprised.
surprised at all to see
Nope.
those.
Not at all.
Nope, that's pretty
No.
chalk. So this is exactly a spot where I did want to be at. So like
I wanted to be in the middle.
there's a lot of different directions we can go. So if you want to build young running back, we can take Gibbs here. Or do we want to build for longer term with wide receivers with the longer durability?
Mm-hmm.
If I was forced this decision, I think win now. I feel like CD would be the pick.
Wow. See, I'm
Interesting.
conflicted now because I have Jaden available to me. Why wouldn't I?
There is our 2
There's your
quarterbacks
2 quarterbacks.
that
This
go
is
in the
ridiculous.
first round.
Yeah.
Not
Is that what
giving
I'm
away
gonna do?
This entire draft.
Probably not. But it doesn't rule it out of the question.
So this is an interesting spot for me as well. Because I'm not going to give up my draft strategy of what I'm going to be doing on the 17th, but I'm going to go for production here. So I'm going to take Jackson. I think you got running,
3
passing.
quarterbacks.
So that's who I would go. And then I got to come back with ooh, wow, look at all this. Ugh. Got 2 really good receivers in London and Collins right here. But then you got Barkley, and what else are we going to have for running backs here going forward?
If you're in win now mode, I absolutely know who I would pick here.
If I'm in win now mode, I think I'm going Barkley, but
That's exactly what I was
Yeah.
thinking. If you're going that draft strategy of win now.
and I guess the other thing that I might think about here is like there's a lot of receivers on the board right now. I've already got my quarterback. My tight end I like is gone, so I think I would pick Barkley anyway, just because of the running back position, what's available.
Yeah.
The position scarcity.
Yeah. I mean, here, easy decision for me. I discussed him earlier. It'd be Nico.
Yep. No, there goes London. You don't get him.
No,
Yeah,
poor
that's
lad.
disappointing. That was a dream that he would fall there. So here's a tough spot. Marvin Harrison really didn't do anything last year. Love his talent. Don't really enjoy Kyler Murray as his quarterback. Don't know what's going to happen there. I don't think, if I'm trying to win now, I don't think Garrett Wilson or JSN is the way to go.
Yeah.
I think waiting on quarterback still, I'm still okay with a lot of these guys coming into later rounds. To me, if I want to put up high scores week to week, I think I can wait another round on running back, and I want high top end. I think A.J. Brown is the pick.
Yep. That's
He's
probably
steady.
who I would have gone with as well.
Yeah. Here come the running backs.
Yeah, there's a couple of them. Oh, there's Roma Dunze for you, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I don't like anything here. I mean,
I know who my pick would be,
I don't think
but
beyond this year it's going to be great, but he had a great year last year,
yeah,
and the team still was really, really good. I know it's probably a little bit out of the range,
I
but
know.
if I want to win week to week, I think Cook is going to give me the best chance.
Solid. Oh, I know who Dan's pick would be here. I'm almost positive.
Nope.
Considering he's available.
You can't start two quarterbacks.
The homer pick would be strong here in
Oh,
Rashid
you're talking
Rice
Rice.
or Patrick Mahomes.
I already got a quarterback.
I'd be tempting though, wouldn't it?
He knew this was going to be a possibility, so he took his quarterback
Yeah.
early.
Yeah. See this? I don't like any of the picks here. Very much. I don't know what to do here.
How many of you would be trying to trade out, up, down at any of these picks?
Yeah,
Yep.
the potential's there. I mean, I already have a quarterback, so none of them look relevant to me. Wide receivers, I don't necessarily like any of them available. This one I'm going to go out on a reach potentially here because he may be available to me on the way back. But I'm going to go Zay Flowers. I think he'd be a good pick, 3rd, 4th round.
Why him
I'm
over
with
Rice?
you. I don't really like a lot of what's here either.
Why him over Rice?
Yeah.
That's what I was debating is Flowers or Rice, and to me their talent is equal. Flowers, I like.
I mean, look at these scores last year before his injury.
I know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tempting to take Rice, but I have a lot of questions about him. You're right; he did produce.
There is a
lot,
looming suspension.
Right.
Yep.
And again, this is not a 1-year thing, and he's a young player, so therefore, if you're thinking more long term, maybe that would work out. But if this was a redraft draft, I would definitely not pick him this year at this spot. Since it's a dynasty league, yeah, maybe I would. We'll go ahead and do it just because.
I
don't really like a lot of the other options out there, to be quite honest.
I say prior to him being injured, he was Mahomes' first target over
Definitely.
Kelsey.
Definitely was.
Like,
Yep, for sure.
There's questions, the suspension and Xavier Worthy kind of having a big playoff push, but I think Rice doesn't take from Worthy. I feel like he takes more from Kelsey, so I do like the pick there.
Yeah. Ugh, still kind of in the same spot here, so. McCaffrey, no, I don't think so. Oh, goodness.
Do we not think he can come back
No bounce
to
back.
where he was?
Christian.
I think so. I just think
I'm
it's.
hesitant on McCaffrey.
Yeah. I definitely am hesitant on him as well.
I say I'm not. I guess if I win now, maybe here in the 5th round would be an option, but I'm out. I guess that could have been a guy off my board. Like, it feels like he's on his.
I don't think he bounces back to what he was, obviously, but production, I think he'll be productive, especially in that offense. But
I really want to take a receiver here, but I'm tempted to go with a better value here at this pick, and so I'm thinking Chase Brown here.
Took my pick.
Sorry about that, Matt.
That's okay.
Should have traded up.
I should have. So we were actually discussing this earlier. I think Xavier Worthy is the better back than Rice. Or better wide receiver, not back. I was looking at Chase Brown as I said that, so back came to mind. But I think Worthy proved himself a little bit more towards the end of the year whenever
he did.
Was down. So I think
thank goodness for the second half of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, for the value, I think I'd rather take Worthy at that pick than Rice. But
yeah,
4-2 speed kills.
Yeah.
I don't have a quarterback, but I'm okay with all these guys here still. I feel like waiting. I'm still okay with it. Jordan Love's down here, weight at 64. I think that's still a serviceable quarterback. Not going to give me the floor that maybe these top 6 guys could give me. But if I'm trying to win now, I still feel like incredible talent. I don't know what this team's doing, but I still feel like he's the guy. So I'm going to take Kenneth Walker. I was really hoping Jalen Waddle would fall to me.
Nope.
That was a sneaky guy.
I figured Addison would be the sneaky pick there, but
again, I win now. I don't care about age. I think McLaurin is a stud.
Damn it.
I got
taking my scary.
I think I got a great core here to help me win week in, week out now.
Yeah, I agree. From a win now mindset, this is kind of a tough one as well. I'm gonna go Mixon.
I like it.
I think that new offense that Houston's bringing, Mixon is going to be a just every down back, and he'll prove it, no matter.
They did draft Jaden Blue out of Texas.
Yeah, I think he'll be the backup this year. He'll learn from Mixon, and this might be Mixon's last just stud year, but hey, I only need 1 year to win it, and then I'm set for the next 5 to pay off. We're good.
So at this pick, I'm tempted to go with a position I don't have, and I think that's probably part of the redraft focus that I have, and so I don't know that I would necessarily do this, but there's been 4 tight ends taken off the board. The next one, I had Kittle last year too, and he was kind of up and down.
Just signed a contract too. He's
up and down. Yeah.
Yep, just got a new 4-year contract.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I would necessarily do this, but for this, I'm just going to do it. So I have nice, pretty colors. I'm going to grab Kittle right here.
Yeah.
Say, I debated him. That's my pick as well. So I don't think it's a horrible reach.
No, I think
his
I don't
tight
think so
ends
either.
can seem to play forever and be valuable. And Kittle has a good offensive coach. They just shipped out Debo. That opens up the middle field for Kittle. I think it is.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna have a big year this year.
Yep.
I do like it.
So.
Well, that's 5
There you
rounds,
go.
gentlemen.
That's
5
5
rounds.
rounds.
The rest of the league, this feature is in the app. You can do this by yourself. If you want to test different strategies, see what's there. The only caveat is we have no idea what the rest of us are going to do.
Right.
No idea.
Which will be fun. and
I
interesting to see
clearly
how
won
works
that
out.
draft. I just want to throw that out there.
I don't know.
I'm not sure about
You don't
that.
think so?
I feel like Walker at 4, but it was a bit of a reach. But it's okay.
I don't think it's a reach. I don't know if I'm 100% sold on it. But
Seattle's just a gigantic question mark to me.
Yep.
yeah.
For sure.
Cream rises to the top, though, Matt.
What?
No IDP was taken in the first 5 rounds. Just want to
No
throw that out
IDPs.
there.
Nope.
Lots of
No.
quarterbacks, though. I was surprised by the amount of
Lot.
quarterbacks that.
A lot of quarterbacks.
So, if you want to get your guy, it looks like it's. You might need to
Yep.
pull that trigger sooner than later
Yep.
if it's a top guy. Any advice, learning? No? Did we have any
Your,
epiphanies while we were doing that mock draft?
I mean, if I were advice to anyone, do some mock drafts, figure out who you want, and when they're kind of going in the mock drafts, it helps. If you need
Yeah.
a spreadsheet, get with Dan. He's spreadsheet king. This guy knows.
Do some spreadsheets, baby. I'm not
Yes.
saying I have one right now. I'm not saying I don't.
Exactly. I knew
So,
it.
I'd say good tips are have your guys, be flexible though.
Oh, yeah.
Like, don't
Especially,
panic.
especially
Yeah.
towards the later
Because
rounds.
it's not going to go any way that we're thinking.
nope.
Like,
No.
I think maybe after the first 18 picks, I think that's pretty sharp, but
It could.
that's,
We
you
could
never
see
know. Who
5
knows?
quarterbacks go in a row. The first
Yeah.
top 5.
Could be crazy.
It's hard to say how folks are going to do it. So,
Who's to say?
Who's to say?
but looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun.
It'll be a lot of fun. I am excited for May 17th, Saturday.
17th, gentlemen. If you want to golf,
If you have any
me know.
suggestions for places, Shadow Ridge,
Shadow.
yeah,
Yep.
just shout them out there.
I'm sure they got private rooms. Well, what do we got? So next week, I think Phil said he's going to be on.
Yes.
Next
Going
pod
to
we'll
be
get Phil.
1 week closer to the draft.
Bring it on, Phil.
I guess we
One
could
more
talk
week.
our trade, see what else has happened. Otherwise, I guess we can figure out what we could talk about.
Yep.
I think it'd be
Make
good
fun
just
of
bring
Matt
another
and his
owner
dull
on, chat with
headphones.
an owner a little bit. Yeah, I'll see if I can get some cool headphones too, so I don't feel so out of place.
These
with
kind of
all you.
fit accordingly, so I figured.
You guys
Yeah,
can't take pink, though. That's my color.
That's great. Okay, well,
These are like
pink and
red,
blue.
but it's okay.
This is Vice, right here. Miami Vice feel right here.
These are like Mickey Mouse red. So.
Well, gentlemen, another episode.
All right, it's been great. Yeah,
All right, boys.
absolutely.
Cheers.
I haven't seen anybody drinking their beers here. I've been
drinking this entire time.
Mine's almost
okay.
Yeah,
I've been
mine is
missing
empty,
you, so.
actually.
Mine's
I'll
gone.
pretend to drink them.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll look forward to next week. Another thing I wanted to mention is we should have the live stream capability available next time. I tried that this time, and apparently you have to request it, and then you get a 24-hour delay. So
Yep.
next time we'll work on a live stream on YouTube, and so we'll see if we can make that work. So more in the Sleeper app as we figure out what we're going to do and when. So keep up to date on there. So that's it. Great time. Enjoy it,
right.
folks. Take care.
Boys.
Thanks, John.